Hello and welcome to Chat E. We're here live at the Mexico E-Prix. It's the day before race day. We're at the Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez. I'm Nikki Shields and I'm joined by the dynamic duo, the commentary team, Dario Franchitti and Jack Nichols. Now let's have a quick chat about the race tomorrow. Dario, cars have just been out for the Shakedown. You've actually also just been out on the track. This is obviously the second time we're racing here. What can we expect in the race tomorrow?
Well, hopefully go faster than I did, first of all. But no, it's a wonderful track. They've modified turn one from last year. It was a chicane last year. Now it's pretty much a 90-degree right. I think it's going to promote passing. It's a tricky track, though. Most of the corners are blind. I know you say it on the street course, but you find you're turning and trying to brake at the same time. I think that'll catch some people out. There's a big difference between the grip level in certain parts of the track, and exiting the stadium section, for instance, very, very low grip. So I expect some incidents there, I think, tomorrow.
Interesting racing. Well, of course, the last time we were here, it definitely wasn't incident-free. Just to remind our audience, it was when Lucas di Grassi won the race on the track, but was later disqualified for the car being underweight, letting Jerome D'Ambrosio to win. But which driver do you think is looking strong to win at the race this year? Because obviously it's a very different scenario. Yeah, well, I know who you think.
Sebastian Buemi is obviously the favourite, obviously coming into this weekend, but you've got to hope something different happens a little bit, because other teams have shown pace, and once this season's done, we're sort of a third of the way through already, aren't we? So it's going to be... Hola, ¿qué tal?
I wonder what that was.
Saludos. ¿Cómo están?
¿Cómo están? Muy bien.
¿Les gusta el tequila?
Tequila, I understand
tequila.
that. Okay.
Yeah, why not? Where is it? Come on.
Oh, there we go, exactly.
Now we're talking. Now I feel
look.
properly Mexican. We need the tequila and the tacos.
Yeah.
Have you got the tequila to hand?
Tequila and eat tacos.
Eat tacos,
Yeah.
yes.
Tacos.
Exactly.
You
Perfect.
can wear that.
Okay, thank you very much. But yeah, we're already a third of the way through the season, isn't that nuts?
We are, and actually talking about this season, we've had a bit of a reshuffle on the calendar. It's recently been announced that the Brussels race will not be going ahead, but instead we've got a double header taking place at Berlin at the Tempelhof airport. And then of course we'll be heading, after here, we'll be heading to Europe for Paris, Monaco, Berlin, and then to the States. New York or Montreal. It's a pretty good lineup of races, isn't it?
Oh, it's absolutely great, and that sort of climax to the season, New York, Montreal, the double headers there, that's going to be really cool. A new layout in Berlin too. I'm excited to see that.
What do you think of the new track layout, Jack?
It looks really good, actually. I got to take this off. Where's the man gone? It's a better track, I think, than last year. It was a tricky one to race on last year, but this year there's a lot less sort of run-off area.
Grab Nico. Sorry to cut you off, Jack. Nico, how you doing?
No, there you go.
You can wear the hat. It's getting passed around.
Sorry? I'm very good, and you?
How much tequila have you had since you got here?
Sorry?
How much tequila have you had since you got here?
Not much.
Not much?
Not much.
That implies that you've actually had some.
No. I'm crazy with alcohol.
He's been too busy.
Sorry?
He's been too busy to run
I had
four
to shake
cars
down four
today.
cars today.
You must be exhausted already.
It's the same number of laps. My biggest worry is that I couldn't see anything in Seb's seat.
Really?
Yeah. The track looked really quick, actually, when I was in his car.
Now, obviously, the reason why Nico's had to shake down Sebastian Buemi's car is because Seb is on the other side of the world, flying over from Monza. He's been testing at the World Endurance Championship. So he's going to, I think, feeling quite tired tomorrow. Do you think his performance is going to be compromised a little bit?
I think it's going to be tough for him, but if he sleeps okay in the plane, he's going to get here early morning, and I think it could be okay. It's going to be hard, but I think the time difference is going in his direction, so I hope for him he'll be okay.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much, and we wish you all the best. Good luck for tomorrow.
Nico, thank you.
Thank you.
So, Dario, you've just had the opportunity to drive the Formula E car around the Mexico track. Tell us what it's really like.
Well, bumpy in places, actually, surprising for parts of the track, or for used in Formula One. But yeah, bumpy in places, really enjoyable, quite flowing. But the toughest thing for me was the sort of the blind nature of some of the corners, and the fact that you were turning and braking at the same time. And I really think that will be a challenge tomorrow. Very easy to make a mistake, and the low grip, I think, will catch out some of the drivers exiting the stadium in particular and trying to brake for that last chicane, which is completely blind. I mean, I went straight through, I must admit, on the very first lap. It wasn't my highlight of my career. Went straight through and used the cut-off there. So
now I can spy a couple of cheeky drivers over there.
Three of them.
Three of them. Well,
and a team boss as well.
the Amlin Andretti guys to come on over and join us.
Colin, your voice, how are you? Good to see you.
Come and join us in the middle. Lovely to see you guys.
How are we doing? Come on.
How are you enjoying the delights of Mexico?
It's great. I mean, for me, this is almost a home race. I mean, I only live in Los Angeles, so about 3 hours away. So it's a nice, easy one compared to the 12 or 14-hour flights of most of them. But hospitality is great, and looking forward to seeing a lot of fantastic fans tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, the 30,000 fans, that must feel pretty incredible when you're driving through that grandstand.
Yeah, it's just a shame they're all here to support Esteban, you know. But, you know...
They'll give you the sympathy, vote, I'm sure.
I think there should be a rule where we all do some donuts at the end of the race in that area, so we'll try and get something sorted between the drivers.
Good. And are you going to be playing it safe for this race? No crashes?
Playing it safe,
no
on,
damage?
these two.
I was chatting to one of your engineers early, and he was like, we got through 5 new nose cones.
Who is
I'm
it?
not giving that
Nicky,
away.
that's harsh. These guys are they're pushing the limits. They're young, exciting drivers pushing the limits. I mean, that's why we love watching them.
This race.
Don't do that.
Comfy. I'm going comfy.
Don't do it. It's boring for us, isn't it? We like the excitement. We like watching you guys.
You don't really believe me, do you?
No.
He said something else beginning of the day, so we're good.
So Robin, what realistically can you do this weekend, do you think? Is sort of top 10 the aim, top 5? Obviously you're going to say win and all that, but...
Well, of course, but the goal is to put both cars in the points for sure. Well, a P7, P8 will be good for us. We had some struggles in BA and Marrakesh, but we had some good data to look at, and hopefully we have a good step forward now.
So Roger, BMW are now coming on as a full manufacturer going forward. That's got to be exciting for the team.
Yeah, no, it's great news for everybody. We're still working through exactly how all of this is going to work, but there's more and more engagement from BMW and more interaction with the Andretti team. So we're trying to teach them a little bit about Formula E, and they're trying to teach us a little bit about working with a major OEM and the resources they have. So it's an exciting time, and just the growth of the team with their involvement is something we could never have looked back a couple of years ago and expected this to have happened.
Plenty of 14-hour flights to Germany then coming up.
How active are BMW already in the team?
Yeah, I mean, we already have a couple of embedded engineers with us. They've actually been working alongside us through last season as well. It's really helping us to understand the BMW mentality of how they go racing. We're also bringing some of the DNA that we've created in North America as well. We have to remember we're an American-based team, and we don't want to lose sight of some of our heritage.
Excellent. Thank you so much, guys, and we wish you all the best for this weekend.
Thank you, boys.
And,
keep pushing, please.
Keep pushing.
Love it.
That's the one I was looking for. Now we're here at the Abs Garage. Lucas Degrassi and Daniel Abt are hopefully here somewhere.
Daniel's lurking at the back there.
Daniel's
Daniel's
come. He's walking in the opposite direction.
I mean,
I
why
like him.
didn't you want to come on?
I'm a bit shy.
Yeah, right.
Nice to see you. Hi.
Yeah. What do you make of this Mexico City circuit? Change at turn 1. What do you think?
It's a bit early to judge because the track was very, very dirty in Shakedown. It's much faster, of course. Not sure it will help the overtaking. And actually, I think if you get it wrong, can be a bit more dangerous. But I mean, it is what it is. We have to take it.
And here's Lucas arriving now. Come in the middle, Lucas. Come in the middle.
All right, mate.
How are you?
Hello, Lucas. How are you? Recently, you've been enjoying the delights of Mexico. How was your cactus juice the other day?
It was interesting. I'm not sure if I'm going to have cactus juice every morning, but yeah.
What's it supposed to do for you?
I don't know. Grow some spines out of you? I'm not sure.
So what's the plan for the race tomorrow? Obviously, you'll be going for the win.
Yeah, of course. That's I think all the 20 drivers are going for. But last year we had a very good race. The car was in a good setup. So the only thing we changed from last year to this year, which has a big effect, is the tires. We have a complete new tires. Here, tire wear was huge. I don't know if you remember, there was a huge amount of tire degradation, especially in the stadium area. So this year, clearly, we're not going to have it, and that influences the setup. But
and this is also, sorry, Dari.
With your setup, how mechanically different is the car from last year's setup? Just purely mechanical?
Very different, because when you change, you know better than anyone else that when you change tire, you change the whole dynamics of the car. Actually, a racing car, the only thing people don't realize how important the tire is, but it's the only thing that touches the ground. So all the brake efficiency, all the power, everything is going through the tire. So when you change tire, you have to change pretty much all the setup around you, all the kinematics, everything.
And is it a narrower operating window for the tire now?
We don't know exactly how, compared to last year, the window or not. So one thing we know for sure is that the tire, it's easier to warm up and it lasts longer and has slightly less grip. But yeah, so it's similar to last year, but lasts much longer.
Daniel, how happy have you been with your season so far?
I'm mixed, I would say. I mean, last time around I made a mistake in qualifying, which up until then actually was my strong part, but happens. Yeah, I think in the race I was quite good, able to get 9 positions, which is not too bad. But of course you have to start up front if you really want to fight for a podium. So I think it's just about getting it all together.
Excellent. Well, guys, thanks for joining us for chatting here in Mexico City once again, and good luck tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Now, we've got Bob Varsha and Mark Priestley down in the Techeetah garage, so let's see what they're getting up to.
Well, thanks, Nikki. It's a great pleasure to be here in Mexico City and here in the Techeetah garage with digital presenter Mark Priestley, a technical insider. And Mark, here's a team that could use a boost in their effort to come on terms with Renault, particularly since they have the Renault power system in the car.
That's right. I mean, this car is essentially the same as the one sat down there, just with a different paint scheme. So we know it's fast, and you know they've come very close so far this season. We've had some great qualifying scenarios, haven't we? Where particularly Jean-Eric Verne has done very, very well. I think it's only a matter of time before they end up winning an E-Prix. You know, this thing is very, very light, and I think that's one of its main advantages, that alongside the Renault, of course, it allows them to put weight much further forward, perhaps than some of the other teams. These cars are inherently very heavy at the rear, and to be able to balance that by putting ballast in the front of the car makes it far more drivable. So I think they've got some operational things to iron out, and they're doing that. They've had some big progress. A guy called Dave Stubbs, former Williams Formula 1 team manager, has come in and got a lot of things straightened out. So I do honestly think they're heading in absolutely the right direction.
It's always about weight, balance, and power, isn't it? Now let's expand the concept up and down the pit lane. Talking with some of these teams, the rule book is fairly restrictive. It's gradually being opened out for innovation, and these teams can't wait to get their hands on other parts of the car, can they?
Well, engineers always want to get their hands on more and more stuff. You know, what we're allowed to do at the moment is design and develop the powertrain, of course, and everything back from that, so the gearbox and the rear suspension and things like that. And the learning that's come from that, just in the short time we've been doing it, has been incredible. It's not just about designing the hardware, but about finding the best way to use it as well.
Absolutely. Well, now let's hear more from the drivers with Dak, Nikki, and Dario.
Well, thanks for that, Bob and Mark. That was very, very interesting. Now we're here at the Virgin Garage with the racer Sam Bird. Now, Sam, Alex Lynn, he's managed to actually get in the driving seat. Did you manage to have a catch up with him after Shakedown? What did he think of it?
Yeah, I think he enjoyed it. I think Alex is obviously a great talent for the future. We really hope to see him in Formula E somewhere. It's great that he's going to be having a chance later this season in a race. Yeah, I think he enjoyed it. You know, he didn't get the full 170 or the 200 kilowatt, but he's now experienced the beginning of a race weekend.
And how did you find Shakedown? Was it as you remembered this time last year?
I mean, the track is slightly different. I think that they've really improved it, and I think it's going to be a better spectacle because of what the FIA have done with the track changes.
What kind of improvements?
Well, turn 1 is completely different, and the chicanes now we have to abide by strict rules, which is really important, because last year some people didn't necessarily abide by the rules all the time.
Are you being politically correct there?
Yeah, I was one of them.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, so I think it's a good thing. I think the FIA have done a really good job, and I think that we're going to put on a great show.
And do you think the turn 1 offers as many overtaking opportunities as originally thought?
No, because it's a quicker corner, but it makes for good racing, fun driving for the drivers, and there will be mistakes going there. It's quite difficult to brake at the correct point. There is a bit of a dip before you turn in, and also it's quite slippery under braking there, so people will be running wide, having to use the escape road and turning around.
And you know, we're nearly a third of the way through the season. How do you think things are going for DS Virgin?
So far, points-wise, not particularly brilliantly. Speed-wise, we've got the speed. We just need to package it better and put it together.
What's missing?
Different. I mean, because really, that thing, it's luck. And how do you change that? I mean, it's because you're not doing anything wrong.
You make your own luck in some scenarios. You look back at Buenos Aires and I have to say to myself, what could I have done differently? And I could have manipulated the weekend better myself. I could have been smarter in some areas. You know, if I'd reacted quicker to having one car much quicker than the other being more favourable, I could have come in after my 200 kilowatt lap immediately after that and gone, right, put that on charge, let's go. But instead I did a couple of 170 laps afterwards. That was the difference between me qualifying in that car and not. So if I'm in that same situation, I'll now know that, but I've never been in that situation before. I also got called to the stewards. So right before my quali group I was called to the stewards. That in your head isn't playing the right tunes in your head right before you go and qualify
Go to the principal's office.
Yeah, exactly. Going there right before you qualify the car isn't the best. So those are the things I could have done differently. I then didn't qualify at the front, which is where we need to have done, and then you get in the mess.
Just vicious circle.
Exactly.
Well, thanks for that, Sam. Very honest answer, and
answer as well. In detailed.
Yeah, but it was good. We like detail, but bye. Yeah. Anyway.
Thanks, Sam.
No, thanks, Sam. Do appreciate that. He's always a good Sam, isn't he? He does really say what he means.
He's very self-critical. He's always looking to improve, and sometimes that comes across as the glass being half empty. But he just wants to improve all the time, and he's quite smiley when he's not under pressure, but when he's working, he's so focused that he just all the time is looking for those improvements.
Well, here we are at Dragon Racing, and come and join us, Loic Duval and Jerome D'Ambrosio.
Are you going?
So, are you guys not speaking then? Still,
We do speak.
Who bought lunch on the Sunday in Buenos Aires then? Because we heard you weren't speaking, there was a big fight, and you were having lunch.
Yeah, 50-50. Yeah.
Oh, we're all a little bit tight, so 50-50.
Yeah.
But yeah, people were surprised that we were having lunch together at the airport. You were surprised, no?
No.
You were next to us, you were surprised.
I love the fact that you guys go on the track, beat the absolute crap out of each other on the track, race like unbelievable battles, and then you're like, hey, you have a little discussion in the garage, and it's like, right, let's go, dinner time, who's buying?
Yeah.
And I love that. That's what racing
It's like
should
us,
be.
isn't it?
Exactly.
It's like we had lunch together at the airport as well, didn't we?
I don't think I've ever seen
all
you
the
on.
time.
Ah, okay.
No.
It was behind closed doors, isn't it? We don't do it in public like these two.
What did happen in Buenos Aires? Talk us through the battle between the two of you, because obviously I think
Well, we're seeing it at the moment, aren't we? Coming down towards the left-hander of turn 4.
I mean, he overtook me before, and I overtook him back.
And that was it. And then we had lunch on Sunday. And I don't know what happened there, locking the wheels. That wasn't me.
And we didn't touch, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Not at all.
No, we didn't touch.
Did I do that?
Was that a brush?
It's moving under braking.
I've got a twin brother, and sometimes he jumps in the car.
Evil twin.
Honestly, it was just good racing, and that's it, And we're gonna have some more of that. The only downside to that is that we end up losing 2 points for the team, and that's what you don't want to do. But we didn't collide, and people want to see fighting. That's why
Absolutely.
We love it.
Teammates, and we are the same car, so we're bound to be close to each other.
It's also the credit to the team. I mean, we had a chat early on with Jay. You were behind the pits, and he wants to keep it the way it is. He doesn't want to freeze any position or whatsoever. He wants us to fight as much as we can, as long as it's positive for the team.
And the golden rule: don't take your teammate out.
We haven't touched wood. It's okay.
In China, the second year, how close was it?
Yeah, that was close. That was down to luck. It didn't happen.
So what about this weekend, Loic? What can you do?
Honestly, I mean, I think since the beginning of the year, we are kind of competitive. I mean, we didn't score the points we wanted. For sure, the Renault are ahead of us. That's no question about it. But I think to reach P5 every race weekend is something that we can do. We have just to put everything together, during the Saturday, which it didn't work before. But Buenos Aires, we showed that, in terms of performance, we were there, and we can do a proper race. We are good on managing energy still, and I'm sure that we can fight for good position here.
And Jerome, obviously you've got good memories, having won the race here last year. What can you do this year?
I think exactly what just Loic said. I think we've had performance. I think on my side, I had more performance since Buenos Aires. I found came back on some more normal stuff with the setup of the car and so on, and found my confidence again. I was able to make a step forward clearly in qualifying, and I had a good feeling today in the shakedown as well, and I think I can push that forward. So hopefully, top 5, top 6 in qualifying, and the same in the race.
Excellent, guys.
The only problem, we cannot shortcut the last corner anymore.
No, that is very true. No shortcutting.
That was a good move.
And no contact between the two of you.
That was a good move. Okay.
That was the best move I've ever seen you do.
Thanks very much.
Are you all right?
Always good to chat to those guys.
Yeah. It's amazing how everyone is going, yeah, we got the pace, but we just got to put it all together, all of that. But it's it's all very well saying it, but Sebastian Buemi is the man who's putting it all together and is the man leading fan boost at the moment as well. And Jean-Eric Vergne second and Esteban Gutierrez third, and not surprising really that Gutierrez getting a little bit of support.
Obviously Esteban, I think we had a chat to him earlier, he's literally done thousands and thousands of interviews. But it is a bit of a shout out to remind you to cast your vote for Fan Boost, which you can do on the Formula E website, the Formula E app, or on Twitter by using the hashtag of your favourite driver and hashtag Fan Boost. And that will give that driver, those 3 winners, an extra boost of energy around this circuit, which I'm sure they would very much appreciate.
Hello, how are you doing?
Mauro, come and join us. Hello. Very well, thank you.
Hello, mate.
How are you? How are you?
Yeah, good. So how was the shakedown?
It was fun, lively. A bit of oversteer.
Yeah.
This is your first time here. What do you make of it?
It's cool. It's great. Great place. Obviously, fantastic facility. I think probably the best or one of the best we come to in Formula E. And the track looks challenging. Looks good. I mean, obviously from the driver's eye, I'm sure you've seen straight away with just the braking on turning, things like that, really make it challenging.
Yeah, that was the thing. I did a couple of laps earlier, and that was the one thing that really surprised me was how much you actually are turning and trying to brake. So yeah, you'll have your hands full tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, between the drivers, we've been saying, braking your Formula E car down in a straight line is pretty difficult. Can be a handful sometimes with all the regen and everything, getting everything right. But braking and turning is definitely more challenging, and that's one of the big things. I think certainly for me, new at the track, it's one of the things I've tried to look at on boards and all the footage I could get to see which line to take, how to straighten up your braking, and try and get the most out of it.
So the last 2 races, 2 DNFs, not ideal, but 9th in Hong Kong, and the pace in Hong Kong looks pretty good. You must be quite optimistic, even if the results aren't coming.
To be honest, yeah, I think the pace in Marrakesh and Buenos Aires, especially Buenos Aires, was actually really good, and it's really a shame because I think probably would have been in the points in both of those races. Certainly looking strong for points, but that's racing, as they say, and move on. Try and have a good race here.
This is the highest race on the calendar, 2,500 metres high. The altitude, do you think it's really going to make that much of a difference during the race? Have you noticed it while you've been here?
Yeah, you definitely notice it. I mean, the air is different here, and you notice the altitude, and I'm expecting that it'll be a more physical race than what we've known so far. The other part here is there's hardly any areas where there's no turning. I mean, the start-finish straight is one of them, and between turn 5 and turn 6, but everything else is just turning, so you never have a straight wheel. And that does make a difference as well. So I think, yeah, it'll definitely be one of the most physical races. And speaking to the other drivers, they've sort of told me that last year this was one of the most physical places, and yeah, so expecting to be like
so
that.
Could this be the toughest race on the calendar?
It probably could. I mean, let's wait and see what else is to come. But I mean, I think physically this will be the most challenging one.
Awesome.
You think you guys have made a step?
I'm hoping. Like I said, I mean, Buenos Aires looked pretty good in free practice. We were pretty confident to be in the top 10 in qualifying, but then had a shutdown in qualifying and in the race, so not ideal. We have changed the gearbox, so we will take a 10-place grid penalty, which isn't the ideal way to start the weekend, but it was necessary for reliability reasons. But we are hoping that we've made a step, and the aim is definitely, once again, to get into the top 10, and especially score points in the race.
Cool.
Awesome. Great to hear from you, Mauro. And
Thanks,
all
man.
the best for tomorrow. Thank you. 2 DNFs, that is quite tough.
2 shutdowns. And that was the problem, wasn't it? And it happened in qualifying as well in Argentina, didn't it? Yeah. So it shut down in qualifying, had to start at the back of the grid, then kept shutting down in the race as well. Really, really frustrating.
And in terms of the current championship standings, I mean, if we look at Sebastian Buemi, he's currently on 75 points. I mean, Lucas Di Grassi is 29 points behind him. I mean, that's quite a way back, isn't it?
Well, it really means that you know, Buemi, yeah, he's on his way here from Monza, but he could actually miss his flight and still be leading the championship tomorrow night if he didn't even show up. When the rest of the field is so tight, this guy is got such an advantage, and I think you've got to take your hat off to him because he's done a fantastic job.
Absolutely. And in terms of the team standings as well, I mean, Renault is just ahead. I think they've actually won points between Nico and Sebastian. They've won points in every single Formula E race ever to date.
Yeah, it's scary, and I think they've got more points than the rest of the teams combined, from 3rd down to 10th or something like that.
There's a statistic for you.
Yeah, I think it's true.
Now we're here at the next CV Garage with Nelson Piquet Jr. Come and join us, Nelson. How are you today?
Very good, thank you.
Good.
Oh, sorry.
Talk
Gonna
us
steal your
through
microphone,
Shakedown and a certain turn, perhaps.
No, we just had a bit of a mix-up on our region levels, and we're messing around with it a bit too much, and yeah, just pushing the car a little bit. It's just a shakedown, so I was just testing out a little bit.
You found the limit.
Yeah, I found it twice, actually.
Yeah, we saw that. We had it both times.
Yeah, no, it's just, shakedown, obviously trying to just completely different things, and kind of messed things out around, and
but you've got to, every time you're on track, you've got to try different things. You've got to keep pushing.
Clearly,
it forward.
It was just it just was something that we tested on simulator, and we kind of wanted to use the shakedown as not just a shakedown, maybe just a little bit, learn a little bit more, try to get ahead of the game a little bit for tomorrow. But clearly, cold tires, cold brakes, and everything, was just a bit too tricky to test what we wanted.
How much can you actually test in a shakedown? We talk about it, how much you guys are sort of trying to learn everything. How much can you actually learn in the shakedown?
Well, I mean, when you have big software changes, we try to validate that a little bit. Obviously, with all our chicanes, famous Formula E chicanes, we try to tack as much as we can the chicanes to see how much it damages the floor of the car, and then we can assess if we're going to raise the ride height and stuff like that. But just basic things, Then obviously in drivers' meeting, all the drivers complain, the track is dirty, you guys need to do something, and
drivers complain now.
Surely that never
I mean, I wonder if Formula E's drivers' briefing is the same like IndyCar or other places, because
they're all the same.
Sometimes it's just, I just get my phone because it's such a joke. Everybody's just laughing and taking the piss. I was like, oh my God. It's like, I mean, I feel bad for the guy up front talking to us, because it's like everybody's just laughing and not taking it seriously. It's like, oh boy.
First of all, I've got to apologise for that language. But second of all, I mean, you're a seasoned Formula E driver now. You're very used to this one race day format. But having two practice qualifying and then race all in one day, I mean, that's pretty intense. How do you cope with that? And how do you think the new drivers like Esteban Gutierrez, who's jumping into the car tomorrow for the first time, is going to find it?
Yeah, it is not much running for sure, and especially because you need to practice. You need to get ready for qualifying. You need to get ready all the coasting laps, get ready find all your marking, braking points, and for him it's going to be really tough because we're used to it, and we know this track, we know the car. It's our third season. It's different from Jan-Erik, where when he came in, it was only our third race. Yeah. So, I mean, we were still very much in the beginning. So, hopefully he doesn't put a lot of pressure into himself and he takes it easy, because okay, it's a slower car than F1, but it's so different, so much less grip and so much other things to learn and other things to pay attention, all the energy management, that's just a whole new way of driving. So advice I would give him is just take it easy. I mean, there's a bunch of good drivers over here as well. You don't need to prove yourself over here. It's going to take a couple of races to really get into the rhythm, I would say.
Well, hopefully Esteban is listening right now, so take it easy. Nelson, thank you very much.
Take care, guys.
Nelson, and all the
thanks,
best
man.
for tomorrow. Some very good advice there.
Yeah, indeed. I still find, I don't know about you, Derek, you go to other races, and obviously I'm not driving, but I'm sort of covering it, and you get back into that sort of 3-day event kind of thing, and then you come back to Formula E and you go, oh yes,
it's all happening.
It's all just nuts.
It's
you get that with IndyCar.
I think you find.
You go to IndyCar, then everything's chilled a bit, then you come back here, it goes bonkers again.
It is a completely different mindset, and some of the IndyCar races are 2-day weekends. A 1-day weekend, you cannot afford any mistakes, and it just comes at you. And I'm sure you get used to it as the season goes on, but it's just, any mistake at all, and you're going to pay massively.
Well, it goes back to really what Sam was saying, when he had to go to the stewards. A small thing like that kind of knocked him psychologically for the entire day.
But Nicky, Sam should not have let that affect him. That was a mistake by him. I mean, at that level, you should not make. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever, get on with it, stay focused. Here's a man that stays focused. Sean.
Right. Hello, how are you? Very good.
How are you, mate? You all right?
Thanks.
So you're feeling good after Buenos Aires?
Yeah, not anymore.
All right, was that short-lived, the
I
celebration?
just received a 3-place grid penalty.
No.
Yeah.
What did you do?
What?
For something totally, I mean, something, it's a joke from the FIA. I don't understand those people. They want to, I think they want to kill us.
What was the reason that they gave you?
I basically just did some measurements on the full course yellow thing, and the full course yellow was set to 170 kilowatts, so which is instead of 110 kilowatts. The speed later on the lap after, when I was at 110 kilowatts, was 40 kilometers per hour faster than what I did previously at 170. On the 170, I was only there on this map for 2 seconds. And for this, I received a 3-place grid penalty. So I think it's a total joke. I'm very mad at them for this.
Do you think you can put that behind you and
I
step
have
into
to-
the
I
race
have-
tomorrow? Because I mean, we were literally just talking about the,
No,
the
I have to put
psychological
it.
effects.
I have to put it behind me, but no, I cannot get. I don't even know if I can get the 3 points for a pole position. We all know how difficult is this track for overtaking. So we are the only team that cannot do any testing. We are the team that get a hammer on the head for not even a mistake, for a bug.
But the good news is you're fast, the car's fast. You can make things happen.
Oh yeah, we can make things happen, but I feel that it's absolutely unfair. You know, we are unchained. We have a huge potential, and everybody is against us. So it's no. Right now, I'm a little bit mad to be honest with you guys.
But by tomorrow, you'll be all smiles, I'm sure.
No, I will be fine. It's something we have to accept, but it's it's very hard to swallow. It's not even a mistake that I've done for something on a shakedown that. Yeah. That means, for example, if it would have happened to Dams, Buemi would have gotten a grid penalty for not even driving his car. It's a joke.
Tough one to swallow at the moment, I'm sure. And just let's quickly touch upon, you've obviously got a brand new teammate alongside you, Esteban
Which has
Gutierrez.
also a 3-place grid penalty. Because we had the same issue on both cars.
Ah, right. So that's a good place to start from then.
Do you know each other from Ferrari? Were you there at the same time in Formula One?
Yeah. We know each other from Ferrari. I know each other from racing together in Formula One, and I think first of all, he's a great guy. He's a quick driver. I think he had a lot of bad luck last year in Haas, but I was on all the races, and in every qualifying, he was sometimes even quicker than Grosjean, or if not just a few times behind. We all know Grosjean is extremely quick driver, so I expect him to be up to speed very quickly, and I'm sure he will be there to give me some hard time, and it will be good because we'll be there to push each other, and it will be great for the team.
Absolutely. Well, fingers crossed, it's a strong pairing for Team Techeetah.
Thanks.
And good luck for
Thank you.
tomorrow.
Thanks, Jeff.
Well, that is all we've got time for here at Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez.
I'm not sure what
at the
Jeff
Mexico
really
City.
thinks, though.
No.
What does he really
I
think
was
about
unclear.
that penalty? It's very vague, isn't he?
Very vague indeed. Straight to the point
Sorry,
there.
you're doing a great
yes,
wrap-up, Harry.
that was fine. Yes, I think we need to get off air now, Jack. I know you like to carry on talking, but that is all we've got time for. It really is. Thank you for joining us for Chatty. We will be back for the race tomorrow. Of course, it's practice qualifying and the race gets underway at 4 o'clock. See you then.